Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time Thursday night. A big week headlined by the big shocker from the Survivor Series this past Sunday night on the WWE Network. Goldberg gets a win over Brock Lesnar. A shocking win over Brock Lesnar. We'll explain more about the why and what's next. Also, James Ellsworth gets his WWE contract on SmackDown, and we have a look back at the new NXT champion that was crowned this past Saturday night at TakeOver Toronto. All that, along with all the latest from Raw, SmackDown, Ring of Honor, and more, right here, right now on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time from Casablanca on Brady.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime TV, the longest-running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts, David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time here on Fight TV and YouTube. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Octavius Tiberius, the alleged one-time backyard knockout, straight-edge hardcore, about to get his ass beat next week at Blizzard Brawl, presented by House of Hardcore. Hero.
Oh, I am ready. You have no idea.
Are you sure? Because you don't look it.
I am prepared for a bag of shenanigans known as Damian Nelson.
No, all you need to do is be prepared for a bag of guns known as Damian Nelson. How does it feel to know 10 days out?
Yeah, 10 days out.
That you are going to lose within the confines of a 20-foot high steel cage at your own show, in your own home, in your own venue, in your own town, in front of your own family, to this guy who not only defeated you last year at Blizzard Brawl, but will do so again. It's a two-peat. It's going to be a repeat. And I've got Abyss on my side. You realize, I think, sitting here right now, I'm not one bit nervous. I'm not one bit scared.
We shouldn't.
I'm not one bit
because you're not going to do any of the work.
Hesitant about beating your ass in the cage.
Monster to Janice, and you're going to be in a cage, and you're going to be probably hiding, behind one of the turnbuckles.
There's like a thing there. How would I hide behind
a
turn?
Just like
you calling me yellow? You calling me a coward? You calling me? You fine. You just think that. You think this is going to be an easy night for you. You think.
Oh, I know it's not going to be easy.
You think that you're going to step in there and somehow or another get one over on me. Remember, I got one over on you last year. I will get a second one over on you this year at the very last GLCW cage match, which is not even sanctioned. Tommy Dreamer won't even sanction this matchup because he knows how bad I'm going to destroy you in Waukesha at the Expo Center on December 3rd.
Well, the fans can watch it.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of fans watching.
But there's going to be worldwide fans watching it.
You know why?
Why?
Because the show will be streamed on internet pay-per-view on Flow Sports, the new app, available on a subscription basis. And do you know why this show will now be featured on Flow Sports?
Because of me.
This guy, I'm main eventing House of Hardcore's first show on Flow Sports.
I was wondering, I'm like, you know what? You are looking a little more jacked, and then I realized you're still shopping at the kids department.
I wear a medium. What's wrong with that?
Just saying. It'll be fun.
You know, your jealousy is just exuding over this entire first segment here. We're supposed to be talking about the Survivor Series, and all you can do is talk about yourself. That's why you're going to lose at Blizzard Brawl. That's why you're going to lose at House of Hardcore. Because every time you continue to make it about David Hero, you keep talking about making it about David Hero, guess what? It's like a big lemon meringue pie.
Who doesn't like lemon meringue pie? You like cream on your face? I like lemon meringue.
Creme brulee.
That's what it is.
Folks, let's talk about this week's big story, which of course was this past Sunday's WWE Survivor Series, and what a shocking turn of events in the main event, which lasted all of 1 minute and 46 seconds, 1 minute and 26 seconds, I believe it was.
It was less than 2 minutes.
Goldberg spear jackhammer pin beats Brock Lesnar, who mounted little to no offense. If it were Killer Instinct, it would have been a perfect victory for Goldberg this past Sunday at the Survivor Series. What a shocker.
It was a shocker, because this is a match I didn't want to see. I said, there's no way Goldberg can beat a Brock Lesnar.
You didn't want to see this match.
I did not want to see this. And we didn't really see anything, if you think about it. We saw less than 2 minutes. And here's what's frustrating for me about being a wrestling purist.
Losing in a cage match?
The fact that the last time we saw Brock Lesnar, the match was cut short with Randy Orton at SummerSlam. Now, we go to Survivor Series, and it's another match cut very short.
You say cut short as if neither were planned that way.
Well, no, they were obviously.
You mean cut short for the fans?
For the fans.
The fans' expectation.
The fans are the ones that are getting screwed, and I get it.
I don't think they got screwed at all.
I understand that they need to sell 60,000 seats.
Is that this?
At the Royal Rumble? No, this has a different ringtone. You'll know. You'll hear it. And Lesnar's not going to work the Rumble. But Goldberg will, so his kid can watch him.
How do you know Goldberg won't work the Rumble? I'm sorry, Lesnar won't work the Rumble.
He's not going to work a Rumble match.
Why not? He also wasn't going to come
back. He did
back.
it last year. He's not going to do it again this year.
Okay. Tomorrow on Feedback Friday, we're going to talk about the next steps between Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. Because it could go in a variety of different directions.
What's frustrating for me?
What's frustrating for you? Losing in a cage
is that all these fans that complain about part-time guys that come back. Well, Goldberg hasn't been in the ring in 12 years.
11.
You round up at point.
Well, he trained for 5 or 6 weeks.
Okay. And you know what? Goldberg looked great over with the crowd.
Even standing next to Brock Lesnar, because you said that standing next to Lesnar, Goldberg would not look good. You said that several weeks ago on this program.
Lesnar didn't look good.
Okay.
If you looked at how good Lesnar looked at his last UFC fight,
the lighting's different. It's a darker feel.
Way different.
Filters and such.
Yeah, of course. It's all about proper angles. You know what? They created a new star in Goldberg. It's good. It'll work. It'll be a Band-Aid for right now, but he's not going to be on every week.
But you say 12 years, and this is a point you've made on this broadcast several times in the past. Mm-hmm. Did this also, the domination by Lesnar over Goldberg, did this also introduce the new era of fans to what Goldberg was in his WCW days?
The video game has done that.
Well, but remember when Goldberg was in WCW, he had quick matches. He never had to wrestle, if you say, per se.
Right.
He did the same thing in this matchup at the Survivor Series. Did that not show the dominance that he can exert to the new audience?
The crazy Kabuki thing is Goldberg is the only guy that could have done that. The Rock would have given Lesnar more offense. The only guy that could have beat Lesnar as convincing as Goldberg would be Steve Austin.
It's not whether he could or couldn't have. I feel they had to do this. In hindsight, I wouldn't have thought going into it, but in hindsight, I felt they had to do this and felt they had to do this to show how dominant Goldberg can be. And also, we talked about it on this program, we did not want this match at the Survivor Series.
No.
Short-sighted as well, because not only did we get the match at Survivor Series, but we're going to get some type of continuation of the story at the Royal Rumble. We're going to get probably a Lesnar-Goldberg matchup at WrestleMania. And again, we'll talk about that on Feedback Friday tomorrow.
Why? Why can't we talk about it now?
Well, because we've got to have content for the show on Friday. It's a holiday week.
Wait, hold on.
Have you had a lot of turkey? You look a little sleepy, a little tired.
You know what?
Or are you just worried?
It's the training regimen I've been in lately.
You're training? I'm not even bothering.
Well,
it's going to be the easiest night of my life.
It's obvious because I have Al Snow training me. You have Abyss. Big difference. Huge.
In size, yeah.
And you can have Janice. I'm sure Janice will pop up. I'm sure there'll be some thought. Ooh, you might be a freaking pincushion.
Bro, I'm not coming anywhere near any thumbtacks. You know what? Just you fantasize all you want. Why don't you just make this a Be the Booker edition?
I'm not going to do that about you with
PrimeTime.
the pincushion. Mickey James is going to be there.
Yeah, she is.
And Katie Forbes.
Who?
Miss Katie.
Oh, she's got the pumps and a bump.
How could you forget Miss Katie Forbes?
Wait, what were pumps and a bump? MC Hammer's pumps and a bump? She had the pumps and a bump, right?
Yes.
What was the bump and what were the pumps?
The pumps were the shoes.
And what were the bumps?
The curves.
So all of it were bumps?
Yes.
So the pumps were literally the pumps.
The pumps
pumps and a bump.
The pumps are the steering wheels.
But it was pumps and a bump.
Because they're long enough where you can drive.
But it's a bump, not bumps.
Pumps and a bump. Pumps and a bump.
Folks, also at the Survivor Series this past Sunday night on the WWE Network, Team SmackDown got a victory over Team Raw. And surprisingly, it was Brock Lesnar, still talking about Lesnar, it was Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton who were the sole survivors on the SmackDown team. I'm not sure how I feel yet.
Everyone complains about Bray Wyatt never getting the big win. He gets a huge victory.
Oh, you need a Randy Orton to help him. I'm not sure how I feel yet about this Orton-Wyatt pairing. I like it. They look great together, by the way.
They do. They're fantastic.
But I would not have have expected it, and I still need to be sold on it a little bit, but this would be SmackDown's only winning effort at the Survivor Series. Some 50 minutes, almost an hour they went in this 5-on-5 elimination matchup. The champions, Kevin Owens and AJ Styles, both involved. James Ellsworth getting involved as well, of course. It was a great matchup.
You've changed.
You've changed into a world-class athlete who's going to beat your ass in 10 days.
The thing is, and here's the thing, because this is what the thing is that Dean Ambrose should be suspended from the SmackDown brand.
Well, he was kicked out of the building on Tuesday.
Right, but he still made a mockery of the institution.
No, he was there early for the Oilers game.
Whoever
hockey team
He
game.
should have been suspended. Okay, here's my other problem with Dean Ambrose and the whole thing.
Oh, you want to talk about his weight, his hair?
Undertaker comes out and says, if you guys lose
last week on SmackDown,
you're going to deal with me. Mm-hmm. Dean Ambrose tried sabotaging his team. Shouldn't Taker when I want to come out there and give him a choke slam?
But they won. Unlike what Baron Corbin did, which we'll talk about in a little while, but they won. Team SmackDown won.
That was Kabuki-ish also. People sabotaging
again, 5-on-5, and if I look at the names, Great Kabuki was not one of them.
But if Undertaker told me if I lose, I got to deal with him, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I win. And Dean Ambrose tried hurting his team.
And did that hurt you personally? Are you upset? Are you offended?
I'm offended that he wasn't trying.
Shed a tear.
He wasn't looking for the bigger picture, for his brand to win.
Well, folks, as we said, Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, the new Wyatt family, would survive for the SmackDown brand, and they would also make that survival a bit more evident on SmackDown on Tuesday.
I thought it was Bray RKO.
I said Bray and Orton, didn't I? Orton and Wyatt.
You said Brandy. Who's Brandy?
That's Cody's wife.
Oh.
We'll talk more about Cody Rhodes later as well. But folks, also, as we said, that was SmackDown's only winning effort at the Survivor Series, as Team Raw won both the women's and tag team elimination matchups, and also did not lose ownership of the cruiserweights. And that was because
that wasn't going to happen. How can you have Kalisto come in there and win the cruiserweight division when he wasn't even in the CWC to begin with? And SmackDown only has 2 hours. You can't take away an entire division from Raw when they got time to fill.
Baron Corbin also wasn't in the CWC, yet he was the reason that SmackDown did not acquire the cruiserweights, as he interfered in that matchup, attacking his own guy from the blue team, Kalisto.
I can understand why Baron Corbin would do that. He doesn't want more guys on his show. It's less TV time for himself. So you bring all those little guys on there.
Ah, that selfish mentality.
And then they can still see him because he'll be taller than them. But you know what I mean? You don't want to have someone else take your spot. You got like 19 and a half cruiserweights.
Kalisto would get some sort of revenge on Baron Corbin and insert himself into other stories this past Tuesday night on SmackDown. We'll talk about that later on here in the broadcast. But folks, also on the Survivor Series, The Miz, who defeated Dolph Ziggler last week on SmackDown, defends his championship successfully against Sami Zayn. The Intercontinental Championship is not on its way to Monday nights.
Explain what happened with Dolph Ziggler again.
I can't. I want to, but I can't. I don't know. I don't understand.
Terrible.
Now, The Miz, right now, side by side, pick them. Miz, Dolph Ziggler. Miz is the guy.
Miz is
a star.
Miz is a Hall of Famer.
Oh, he's a 6-time Intercontinental Champion.
But just think about it.
6-time tag champion.
Has there ever been a guy that has done more with little?
What do you mean by see? It's those little jabs right there that you've been giving in a theoretical
look at how
sense,
the Miz started,
and you're going to be getting
how the
in a physical
Miz started.
Sense at Blizzard Brawl
he was
in the cage.
The game show host.
He was the host of SmackDown, which
and look at him now. Look at how far he's grown.
He's a mega star in the business.
He is. He's won every title there is to win except the Divas title and the Cruiserweight. I'm giving your guy props.
Overall, David Hero, your thoughts on the Survivor Series this past Sunday on pay-per-view?
I thought the tag match was good. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed some of the finishes of how certain guys were eliminated as being good.
There was a lot of sensible eliminations, right?
But it was a very
The New Day getting eliminated first in the tag situation was surprising.
Amazing. But that was good. You know why? Because now you feature all the underdog teams.
Their vulnerability would then be more exposed on Monday's Raw, which we'll talk about in a moment.
Well, how can you keep pushing things off?
I tease.
Oh, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. I promote.
Oh, yeah, I know. Keep promoting next Saturday night, December 3rd.
You might not want to continue to talk about that because think about the Saturday after on December 10th, where you're going to have to explain to the world why you are a loser, baby. So why don't you kill me?
I would do that if I lost to you.
Survivor Series. Your overall thought on the show?
I thought it was a solid performance. I mean,
A, B, C, D. I know we don't like grading, but just
I'll give it a B. I'll give it a B.
B plus minus.
I'll give it a B plus.
B plus.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was a good show. It was entertaining for its 3.5 hours, which I chuckle at because when they have a 3-hour special event, it goes 3.5 hours. When they have a 4-hour special event, it goes 3.5 hours. So, which was smart though for the Lesnar Goldberg thing because when they started, you had 30 minutes left, right?
Yeah, and then
you thought you were going to get a match, and
here's the thing.
Nope.
And by that time, the crowd was so exhausted because they had seen everything, they felt like they still got their money's worth.
So, all right. So this is not. Let me ask you this: in the annals of time in professional wrestling, you've got the hot babyface who comes into town, who is expected to win the matchup, who doesn't win the matchup, does so and is protected by losing in short fashion.
Who's the hot babyface?
Brock Lesnar, who does so and is protected. In this scenario, I think so. He was the expected winner. He was the guy the fans were rooting for. Nobody thought Goldberg had a chance.
The fans were happy when Lesnar lost.
But did they? No, they were happy. No, I think you're confusing emotions here, much like love and lust. They're
both 4-letter words.
Surprised and delighted when Lesnar won, Goldberg won, but not happy that Goldberg won. There's a difference there.
I think for the nostalgic aspect, they're happy Goldberg won. They're happy to see the 2 spears and the jackhammer.
It was, as a wrestling fan,
if I'm Brock Lesnar,
I loved
if I'm Brock Lesnar and I come in on the private jet and I get the Lincoln come pick me up and drop me off, and I look at the run sheet and it says 1 minute 46 seconds.
So Lesnar had no say in this losing match for a person he likes, Goldberg, who he sees the money in the match at WrestleMania with.
If Lesnar didn't think that was a good finish, he wouldn't have signed off on it.
Correct.
So what I'm saying is, he sees what it is, he's like, night off. Cash my check.
Payday.
Yeah.
Well, folks, that was this past Sunday's WWE Survivor Series. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we talk about this week's Raw, this week's SmackDown. We've got hot news and even more news on TNA Impact Wrestling, including a look back at NXT TakeOver from this past Saturday night in Toronto at the ACC, as they call it. And one of these fingers almost just went up right in his face. Can you guess which one?
Probably your thumb. It's the shortest.
Just a moment.
Hardcore is coming to Waukesha on Saturday, December 3rd at the Waukesha County Expo Center. See the last ever GLCW Steel Cage match as Alcino and Dave Hero team up to take on Abyss and Damian Nelson. This match not sanctioned by House of Hardcore. A mixed tag team match featuring Mickie James, Tommy Dreamer, Angelina Love, and a mystery partner, and Bob Holly takes on Sami Callihan. Including special appearances by Ryback, Mickie James, Colt Cabana, and more. Don't miss it! And more info now at houseofhardcore.net.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday Night, hosted by Damian Nelson. Let's get right to it now with this week's WWE Raw Report. And wow, what a way to kick it off with the explanation by Goldberg as to what's next in his career in WWE. Now, everyone thought, everyone heard, because that's what he's been saying, is this is one last match, one last next, one last time against Goldberg, against Lesnar at the Survivor Series. Well, Goldberg says that he's got one more title run in him, folks. And that, of course, will take him through the Royal Rumble on the road to WrestleMania. Goldberg now back on a full part-time basis for the next couple of months with WWE. I don't think anyone expected this.
Oh, absolutely not. He figured he comes back for the video game, has the big match with Lesnar, goes into the Hall of Fame maybe in Orlando, and poof, he's done. Great run. Well, now they realize they can make some more money with him.
Yeah.
Because with the T-shirt will come back out again. The who's next, the what's next, the tattoo gimmick. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a renaissance, if you will.
Well, they need that because he can't dust off the Rock all the time. He can't.
Right.
Mick Foley he's no longer a special attraction.
Austin's not even special anymore.
Oh, don't say that. Steve Austin
because of his overuse is not as special.
No, it's because he can't do what Goldberg can do. he can't go out there and do a match right now.
Goldberg apparently had double knee surgery just a few months back as well, so maybe that also contributed to the circumstances at the Survivor Series this past Sunday. But again, as we said, we're going to talk much more about Goldberg on Feedback Friday tomorrow.
What was the way Rusev responded to Lesnar's loss on Twitter? Laughing.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, maybe he was still taken aback by after seeing Enzo naked.
Well,
NEKKID.
Well, you know, here's the thing about that. It's Lana had no problem staring.
Well, I mean, it was right there, like somebody dangled a carrot in front of her face.
Do you stare at a dangled carrot?
I would stare at a dangled carrot, yeah, because you dangle a carrot. There could be something there.
Okay.
A carrot, yes.
I'm just asking.
Yes.
I wouldn't.
You don't like carrots? They're good for the eyes.
That's why I'm still wearing glasses.
Folks, again, we discussed more about the Goldberg situation,
connoisseur.
including your feedback on the situation tomorrow night on Feedback Friday, which could also be viewed right here on FITE, F-I-T-E, the FITE TV app for your mobile devices.
Omar?
You don't have FITE on there.
I need a hookah.
You can't. Oh, no, by all means. Smoke all the tobacco you want.
Whatever you
leading
want.
into your big
All right.
match next
Quickly.
Saturday night at Blizzard Brawl.
You're stressing me out, bro.
Am I really?
Yeah.
I'm stressing you out.
Because
you look at me and you say, damn, there's no way I can beat that fine piece of wrestling greatness sitting next to me. You didn't know for all these years that I've been secretly being trained.
I think you got every word wrong except for peace.
I have practiced up on my lucha skills. I have practiced up on my
you're wearing a
grappling
hood?
skills. I have practiced up on my technical skills.
You know what I wish you would have been?
Maybe in a cage, but you are not one bit ready for the devastation that shall be levied upon you.
I've already been in the ring with Abyss once. I know what he's capable of.
Yeah, but guess what? You've never been in the ring with me. You don't know what I'm capable of. And that should give you pause.
You're going to run. You're going to run and run and run and run and run.
I'm going to win at the end of the day. That's all that matters, right? I mean, this is Trump's America. That's all that matters.
Speaking of that, Hillary's server got involved in our show last week?
No, Hillary just, 2 million more people think she should be president than Donald Trump right now. That's
you
what
can't
happened.
go off of that.
When you didn't win valedictorian or homecoming king, didn't it matter how many votes you didn't get?
No,
Isn't that
not
the
at
reason?
all. I lost.
Yeah, you lost the vote, right?
Yeah.
So you lost the vote. So how does it not matter that 2 million more people
California
in
doesn't
God's
count.
green?
How many of them were illegal voters?
Oh my God, I hoped you were not that dumb, but I now realize that clearly you believe in fake Facebook news. You get all your news from Facebook, don't you? You're that guy. You're that guy.
No.
You don't listen to NPR, National Public Radio. You don't watch BBC because they don't care. They don't have a dog in this race, so they actually report the facts. You don't follow the real stuff that is going. You know what? And just keep it up. Keep stoking. Bring it on. Just keep it up because every little bit of this, is going into the left and going into the right. Because who are you?
Hookah man.
Why are you? Who asked you to? What did you do?
I need to chill.
Actually, I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. Did you put that? What we talked about? I sent the message out before I got here. I asked for some of that stuff to be put in there. Thank you.
You trying to roofie me?
Absolutely not. I'm just ensuring you're properly prepared for your match next Saturday. We're talking about WWE Raw. We haven't gotten beyond the first segment. Let's get beyond the first segment as you've got all your little gimmicks here. Why do you have to play with all these old toys?
Because I love toys.
You're an adult or an adolescent? Chris,
speaking of toys,
Sin Cara's mask that Chris Jericho was wearing on Raw this past Monday night.
How does
he got
that
involved
happen?
in the matchup.
How does that happen?
Between
Seth
Rollins and Kevin Owens. Let's explain your questioning with the backstory, please.
Because Jericho and Sin Cara got into a shoot fight.
Legit fight backstage. Not even, maybe it wasn't a month and a half ago?
A couple weeks ago, I think. Yeah. So that's the rib right there. Yes. He dressed up as Sin Cara. See, that's how easy it was in California for all those illegal voters. They put hoods on, and they went into the polling places.
The allegations of voter fraud went away when this became Trump's America. The matchup, though, between Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens was very well done. They were all over the place. It was no DQ, no count out. Seth Rollins taking a lot of risks, only for his efforts to be thwarted by a masked Chris Jericho who had been banned from ringside at ringside behind the barrier in a Sin Cara mask.
Do you know why Raw isn't good anymore?
For you? Why is it not good for you anymore?
Wait, hold on. Where are we on this?
We're talking about Raw. This is the Raw Report segment 2.
When are we going to talk about NXT?
And hot news. Later on in the program.
I'll wait then. I don't want to give away my goods. I've done a lot of research.
You also have a DHS to present. Because there's still those 2 people who care about what you've spoken about.
There's a lot of those.
So anyways, a great matchup. I think this furthers the story. And let's not forget how we got there earlier in the night with the highlight reel. It looked like we were going to see the final separation of Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, but they too came together to place blame on Roman Reigns.
Because they're Canadian. They stick together.
Here's the thing, though. Those two are fantastic together, are they not? And getting better and better and better. And I said to Chris Jericho on this very program some years back that he was nothing more than the master manipulator in the wrestling business. And I'm not sure, David, that next to The Rock, can anyone else stand who, for the entirety of his career, has had the fans literally right here? Because Chris Jericho...
Ric Flair was there. Roddy Piper was there.
I'll give you Piper. So fine, he's in a class of 5.
Sure.
But he's that great at what he does. And talk about evolving oneself over the years.
Is that how you were the valedictorian? Because you had a class of 5?
No, I did not run in such contests because I was too busy running the school store and being the treasurer of the Distributive Education Clubs of America. And
what were you selling in your store?
Goods.
Is that the stuff you were asking for Omar to get for you?
I'm not going to divulge that. There are cameras rolling. And you've got a hot mic. Speaking of which, have you heard that audio that was recently unsurfaced that you generated?
No. What did I do?
If you survive next weekend, perhaps we'll release it. Oh. You had some pretty choice things to say about Linda. And she's not pleased.
Well, but here's the thing. I didn't lie.
You said she did.
She was lying down is what I said.
You did say that?
Yes.
Speaking of lying down, Sami Zayn didn't really even get a chance to after he was fed to Braun Strowman for his failure at the Survivor Series against The Miz on Sunday night. Did Braun Strowman get what he needed coming out of the Survivor Series and then on Raw Monday night,
absolutely.
David Hero?
But here's the thing that absolutely sucks is that little James Ellsworth is the guy that stopped Braun Strowman.
Well,
he's not
an unfortunate grab. Remember, Bobby Heenan stopped the Ultimate Warrior from kicking out a Ravishing Rick Rude at WrestleMania 5.
250 pounds.
And he had leverage, yeah.
Ellsworth is like a pimple on Strowman's ass.
There's your size argument again.
Oh, he's not tiny?
So what's next for Braun Strowman, though? Certainly it's not going to be anything with Ellsworth, and he's already, him and Zayn enter a program, because this has been going on for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Their next show is Battleground the week after next week's TLC, I think, is WWE.
See, here's the thing. Sami Zayn is the kind of guy
who's endorsed.
That can keep getting beat and the fans will still cheer for him.
Well, because he's endorsed.
That could be.
He's a star.
But, you
can just keep your tip to yourself.
Braun Strowman is a beast, and he's going to dominate in the Rumble. Not going to win it, but he's going to dominate. I look forward to seeing Braun Strowman and Bill Goldberg at the Rumble.
Speaking of dominating, Nia Jax did so again. This time, though, her victim was Sasha Banks, as she came down and confronted Sasha after the match was made between her and Charlotte for Charlotte's WWE Women's Championship next Monday in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I thought it was interesting that Charlotte pointed out that she beat Sasha in her hometown. Well, now Sasha gets the chance to beat her in her hometown. And I'm sure she will.
It'll be hot potato with the title, which that doesn't bother me. I have no problem with that. But Nia Jax, she'll be the champ soon.
How were her microphone skills this past Monday night on Raw? All of a sudden, mic skills don't matter. All of a sudden.
How are Umaga's? How are the Great Khali's?
Umaga had a manager.
Okay.
The Great Khali had a manager.
Nia Jax is The Rock's cousin. Through osmosis, she's going to be amazing. Yeah, they're good. How are their mic skills?
Great. Good. Mm-hmm. They're okay.
Okay. Multi-time World Tag Team Champions.
Folks, speaking of Tag Team Champions, the continued acknowledgement of Demolition's 478-day streak is happening, as New Day said that they want to get that far.
Maybe Demolition goes in the Hall of Fame this year because they keep talking about them.
They do keep talking about them, but there are two teams who are wanting to do everything in their power to ensure that New Day does not surpass Demolition's reign. Firstly, Cesaro and Sheamus, great matchup the four had this past Monday night on Raw. And also the
Gallows and Anderson.
Team of Gallows and Anderson, the club, if you will.
Who have just been hanging around like a dangling carrot.
They had they had a pretty good showing this past Sunday.
Right, but they have been in the title picture nonstop.
They have. And I think... Did they pay a bit of what one would call dues, if you will, in WWE by going through this comedy?
They were being tested.
Did they pass?
Well, let's not forget, Gallows used to be Festus. Come on.
How were his promo skills?
It depends when the bell would ring.
WWE Raw this past Monday night. I didn't think the show was as great as it could have been coming off the Survivor Series. However, a lot of the fans did because they drew some 300,000 more viewers than they did in the previous week. Clearly, because of the intrigue as to
yelling?
Brock Lesnar defeating Goldberg. Goldberg defeating Brock Lesnar. I still get the two confused.
Well, they look similar.
Similar, yes. Well, one's substantially smaller than the other.
They're both white. They got big traps.
I didn't even notice their traps.
No?
You're talking about the trapezius muscles?
Yes.
All right, folks, that is this week's WWE Raw. We're going to take a time out. When we come back, it's time to talk SmackDown.
Be sure to get your WWE Loot Crate box by going to lootcrate.com/PWR and get 10% off your order.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night, hosted by yours truly, Damian Nelson. Let's go now into this week's WWE SmackDown report, and SmackDown coming to you from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. You know,
this is like gamma radiation for me.
Here's the thing. For nearly 19 years, I have given my life, soul, and spirit to this program.
Yes.
And you come riding in on your little high horse.
It's a magic
thinking
carpet.
You own the place.
It's called the Trojan horse.
Thinking you own the place and shitting on everything that I've built. No. You've blown bubbles here in this thing. You're texting on your phone. And no. You've got all this debris in front of you. You're writing gibberish down. Why do you even bother to show up? That's my question. If you didn't learn your lesson last year at Blizzard Brawl when this hand...
Careful how you phrase that.
Took
this hand.
When I tried to put you in your place then...
You didn't do nothing.
I tried to put you in your place then. You lost your company. I thought I won. I thought you learned the lesson you needed. I thought you received the tough love that you deserve.
A year later, I'm back on pay-per-view. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're on pay-per-view because of me. Mm-hmm. Tommy called me and said, does your contract allow you to be on pay-per-view? I said, yes, absolutely. And you know what, Tommy? Because I just want to put him in his place so bad again, he being you, I'm not even going to take a payday on it.
Well, good, I'll take yours.
So you can blow your little bubbles, play with your little phone, tweet on your little phone.
If I can't get in the...
I'm just done.
If I can't get in the right mindset, it's a challenge being around you.
I'm going to cover the SmackDown segment all by myself. If you could sit there and not say a blessed word, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much. Producer, cut his microphone, please. Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to get a lesson in broadcast journalism. WWE SmackDown this past Tuesday night from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Oh, I can't wait till December 3rd. In Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, featured the story of James Ellsworth. James Ellsworth asking for a contract, Shane McMahon granting said contract, Dean Ambrose coming out, AJ Styles coming out, and a ladder match is made for the main event of SmackDown on Tuesday. James Ellsworth versus AJ Styles. If Ellsworth wins, he gets a WWE SmackDown Live contract. Now, of course, the odds stacked tremendously against Ellsworth, who does find a way to beat AJ Styles. It was no chin music. It was also assistance from Dean Ambrose. Regardless of all that, at the end of the time, at the end of the night, James Ellsworth has a WWE SmackDown Live contract.
You praying now for next weekend?
I'm counting to 5. Folks, the American Alpha also gets the #1 contendership for the Tag Team Championships. However, they are then challenged after winning a multiple team elimination matchup. They are then challenged by the team of Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, saying they've not been through all the tag teams yet. So now next week on SmackDown Live, Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt will take on American Alpha. The winners will be the number one contenders.
Hey, what if James Ellsworth,
I asked you not to speak,
is actually related to AJ Styles? And maybe they're, it's a big master world plan to get Ellsworth a contract.
I don't know if you guys hear that. I apologize for the interference in my microphone, which sounded like voices in my head. Folks, also on SmackDown, Baron Corbin faces Kane. He gets put up against Kane as punishment for his interference at the contest, the Cruiserweight contest at the Survivor Series, and Kalisto would get involved in that matchup as well to try to get his revenge on Baron Corbin, along with getting involved earlier in the matchup between Dolph Ziggler and The Miz, which Baron Corbin also did get involved in.
Can you imagine if Corbin's name was spelled with a K, those three guys in the ring together?
SmackDown this past Tuesday night, condensed. It was a quick 2-hour show, a good 2-hour show. They are on their way to TLC in what I believe is next weekend, where Ambrose will face AJ Styles.
We need to go to Dallas.
Ambrose will face AJ Styles for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Folks, that is this week's WWE SmackDown report. When we come back, we're going to talk about TNA Impact, Ring of Honor Wrestling, and an NXT TakeOver from Toronto this past weekend.
Hey, Dave, just a couple weeks away now. I'm really looking forward to seeing you again. Only this time, Dave, I know in my heart and in my head that it's the last time I'm ever going to see you. Because after Saturday night, House of Hardcore Blizzard Brawl, the biggest Blizzard Brawl of all time, just a couple weeks away, and I, along with Damien, to whatever extent, are going to dominate you and Al. I don't even need him. You and Al are done. Just a couple weeks away. Get your business affairs in order, my friend. Give Cal a big kiss on the forehead and say your goodbyes. See you in a couple weeks, David. Take care.
The Shenanigans VIP party has moved to a new date and a new place. Join us Saturday night, April 1st, the night before WrestleMania at the Pub at Point Orlando. Details and tickets are available at PWRshow.com. And the new date rocks.
House of Hardcore is coming to Waukesha on Saturday, December 3rd at the Waukesha County Expo Center. The last ever GLCW Steel Cage match. As Al Snow and Dave Hero team up to take on Abyss and Damian Nelson. This match not sanctioned by House of Hardcore. A mixed tag team match featuring Mickey James, Tommy Dreamer, Angelina Love, and a mystery partner. And Bob Holly takes on Sami Callihan. Including special appearances by Ryback, Mickey James, Colt Cabana, and more. Don't miss it. And more info now at houseofhardcore.net.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time here on Fight TV, F-I-T-E, Fight TV.
Can I come back on the show now?
You know, it's interesting. This groveling that you're doing right now is reminiscent of the thoughts that I have of you groveling at the feet of me and Abyss at House of Hardcore Presents Blizzard Brawl December 3rd in Waukesha,
I can't believe how much better I
Wisconsin,
feel right now.
which will be broadcast live on internet pay-per-view on the Flow Sports app. It's my pay-per-view debut.
I'm gonna make you so freaking famous.
You can't make me any more famous than I already am. I'm a big deal around here.
You're no Justin LeBar, brother.
Who?
JLB, he's 40 now.
JBL? I thought he was older than
JLB, Justin LeBar, he's 40.
The guy that used to work with Eisenberg. Yes, yes.
What happened to Eisenberg?
I'm not able to share details of that situation on air.
She was 18 though, right?
Folks, let's go to this week's hot news. No, it's Impact. Time to talk Impact. Last time we were with you in our studio here at Casablanca and Brady, our guest was Aiden O'Shea from TNA, and he had a lot to say about the goings-on in TNA Impact Wrestling, specifically with that of Billy Corgan.
He's a goober too. All of a sudden,
the situations going on in that company. What do you mean by a goober?
Just how he's sucked up to the whole time. He was just sucking up to
me. I paid him. He trained me because every chance I get to hone my wrestling talents, I'm taking advantage of. So you get a little bit from everybody.
So you're saying you took advantage of Aiden O'Shea and you paid him for it.
I'm saying.
How does that happen?
I am saying that I took advantage of an opportunity to better myself and my skill set and my level of talent in the ring.
I can't wait to see what you're going to wear in the ring.
From a certified professional.
Did you get gear yet made?
Why do you care? Worry about you, I'll worry about me, boo-boo.
Brother, I'm not your brother. Star Labs.
And don't call me brother just because I'm of a certain race.
Star Labs is working on my gear. I'll be fine.
We also found out from TNA Impact Wrestling that the company is going to air its long-rumored Hardy-themed edition of Impact. That's going to be on December 15th, folks.
That's going to be hot.
It's going to be celebrating the brilliance, let me read this as it is said, the broken brilliance of Matt Hardy. That show to be filmed entirely at the Hardy compound. And there are rumors of some tag teams of old participating in that taping, including, I think, the Rock and Roll Express, David Hero.
Oh.
Let's give credit where credit's due. Any deletion or whatever they've done so far outside of the TNA Impact Zone at the Hardy compound or what have you has been cinematic brilliance as it pertains to professional wrestling.
What if Demolition shows up?
They could.
Because they own the name Demolition.
They do own the name Demolition, and they do own the name Axe and Smash.
And
they do also own Kicking Your Stinking Teeth In.
And just with all the love they've been getting on WWE TV, if they showed up on Impact. Oh, I need it. Miss Betty, can you get me Matt Hardy, please?
Like you have his number.
No, Miss Betty does.
Folks, that is this week's TNA Impact Wrestling Report. Let's go on to this week's hot news and big news coming out of Ring of Honor on next Friday.
King Maxwell's on the voicemail. Hold on.
Next Friday, December 2nd in New York City, they will present Final Battle.
Hey, Hardys. Dave Hero, call me. I have a brilliant idea for your deletion show. Please.
Cody Rhodes.
262-344.
Cody Rhodes will be making his debut on that show. That is going to be Ring of Honor Final Battle. That's going to be from the Hammerstein Ballroom. Now, Cody did recently announce on Twitter that his opponent will be none other than Jay Lethal. So, David Hero, your thoughts? Cody Rhodes, Jay Lethal, one-on-one. First time Jay Lethal in Ring of Honor.
I think that'll be great. Don't you think so?
I think, well, it's a Cody Rhodes match. It's a Jay Lethal match. Both tremendous stars. And talk about nose-to-nose, quality talents, same type of skill sets.
Oh, I thought you were saying they're the same height. Now, I wasn't going to bring size into that match because those guys are fantastic.
They are the same height, essentially. And what does that matter?
Is that what you're saying, nose-to-nose?
Yes.
Belly to belly, bumper to bumper?
You ever see Smokey and the Bandit Part 2?
I'm sure I have.
Do you remember when Buford T. Justice had that beeper thing for his heart? Whenever somebody mentioned the Bandit?
Yes.
I feel as if I need a device like that for any time you speak, anytime your mouth opens, because it is like babies crying in a classroom with nails being scrubbed across the chalkboard.
I was told I have a very soothing voice. Just so you know. Katie Forbes told me it's
by calling numbers on commercials at 3 in the morning.
Katie Forbes says I have a very relaxing voice.
Who's she ever beat?
Rob Van Dam.
Also on that show, which of course is available on the Fight, F-I-T-E TV app on pay-per-view, along with the weekly Ring of Honor broadcast. The main event will be for the Ring of Honor Championship as Adam Cole defends against Kyle O'Reilly. And folks, this is going to be a tremendous matchup. One that these are two men who will leave more than their souls in the ring in New York at the Hammerstein Ballroom for this main event championship matchup, and it's going to be a great journey to watch. And as I said, you can watch it
as I will be. Let's not forget about Silas Young.
Absolutely part of the show as well. And let's not forget about the fact that you can watch it on your device. Fight TV. You can go ahead and use your mobile device and go ahead and call up the Fight TV app, order the pay-per-view Ring of Honor Wrestling, and that's Cody. And you can go ahead and take your device then, and you do nothing. It finds your Wi-Fi devices and says, play me on there. Boop, boop. Play it on your television. It is one of the best interactive experiences you can have to watch professional wrestling. That's Fight, F-I-T-E. Awesome. It's available on the Google Play Store and also in the iTunes store for free. FREE. As you know, folks, NXT TakeOver was in Toronto this past Saturday night.
Oh my gosh.
As part of the weekend of Survivor Series, and a brand new NXT champion was crowned as Samoa Joe defeated Shinsuke Nakamura in a shocker. 2 shockers this weekend. Lesnar beating Goldberg and Joe beating Nakamura.
And then a few days later, you have James Ellsworth beating AJ Styles.
In a ladder match. I don't think that's as significant, though, as this championship change at NXT.
It's way bigger.
How?
You have an indie
Here we go.
wrestler, Ellsworth, defeating one of the greatest on the planet.
With the help of Dean Ambrose. And in these two situations,
music.
In these 2 instances with both Lesnar and Joe, they did so cleanly, 1, 2, 3 in the center of the ring.
Amazing.
Did you expect Nakamura to lose the championship so quickly?
No.
Keep in mind one thing that could be relevant to this whole thing. NXT's touring Japan soon.
Yes.
And it's probably a better scenario for their native star to be pursuing the championship
He's not
versus
native,
defending.
he's Japanese.
Their native star, not the people we stole the country from. Their native star.
Okay. Which, by the way, is today. Happy Thanksgiving.
What's happy about it for you? It's probably going to be your last Thanksgiving. Better load up on that cranberry sauce.
I don't like cranberries. You might need one for a bladder infection.
Also, though, on that show, there was an amazing tag team matchup by Milwaukee's very own Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, DIY, the team of DIY.
What does
against,
that mean?
Well, it could be do-it-yourself or DIY or...
Die?
No, that's DIE.
Die? D.
They had a matchup with the Revival, Wilder and Dawson.
Who was the best tag team in wrestling?
Best 2 out of 3 fall matchup, and I would agree with that statement about them being the best tag team in wrestling right now. Absolutely, tremendously phenomenal matchup, folks, and you've heard about it. If you haven't seen it, you owe it to yourself to watch these 4 men destroy what is classic wrestling, or deliver, rather, what is classic wrestling in this best 2 out of 3 falls matchup. It was awesome from beginning to finish, and congratulations to those 4 men for participating in that matchup and delivering what they did. New winners of the Dusty Rhodes Classic Tag Team Tournament are the Authors of Pain. They defeated TM61 to win that tournament. How do you feel about that? You know, Paul Ellering was suspended in a gimmick cage above the ring only so they could sell more of these gimmick cages, which looks like a horrible product, by the way.
Here's my thing. How do they author pain?
Well, how did they master pain?
How do you write about it?
How were they dooming the Legion?
How
are they worrying the road?
But they're authors. Authors write.
Yeah, so they're writing pain. Maybe they're going to write the Hall of Pain for Mark Henry.
I could see that happening.
Great show, NXT TakeOver this past Saturday night, and a solid pay-per-view event delivered from them as well. Congratulations to all, and unfortunately, we can't get away from the world of politics here on this show because it appears as if former WWE...
pump the brakes for a second. Whenever you talk about politics, everyone down below gets pissy.
Do you think I do this for their comments?
They don't think that you are a political pundit.
I'm a broadcast journalist. I'm here with a responsibility to report the news to you. I'm reporting the news to you as former WWE CEO and the wife of current WWE CEO Vince McMahon, Linda McMahon, is rumored to be in the running for a cabinet position with the Donald J. Trump administration. Unknown whether or not she'll work out of the White House or the Trump Tower, where he thinks he should still live, which means he didn't give a damn about this whole election process in the beginning, never wanted to be president.
He's way more comfortable in the tower. And you know why? Here's the thing. You can slide people in and out a little bit easier. There's a lot less people watching the tower. What's the big deal? You don't think President Obama had a vacation house?
He didn't say he was going to go stay there every weekend and protect the sanctity of the presidency of this country and treat it as a frickin' joke.
First
like
of all,
this guy is doing. Linda McMahon gave $6 million, fundraised and gave $6 million to the Trump campaign. Her reward appears to be a cabinet position in the administration.
Well, of course it is.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, the broadcast journalist will sign off and turn it over to the broadcast hack, known as DB Hero, for this week's DWHS.
What does the B stand for?
Bag.
David Bag? Is it because... No, my father's side is from Lebanon, not Baghdad. You need to. That's completely
douchey.
Anti-Semitic? No, that wouldn't be right.
No, you're an anti-dentite.
Anti-dentite. I love chewing gum. But let's talk about DWHS, which is really important. DWHS, everyone's raving about how great NXT was, which it was a fantastic show. It was great. It gave the fans something new they hadn't seen before.
Do you need a shovel?
And that's my biggest problem. If Monday Night Raw and SmackDown could keep their main stars separate, the same way NXT does, where you don't see Samoa Joe versus Nakamura every week, Raw pay-per-views will be a little more special. SmackDown pay-per-views will be a little more special. But when you have AJ against Ambrose every week, and you have Rollins against Kevin Owens every week, it's no longer special. And that's the advantage NXT has. They tape 4 or 5 or 6 weeks in a row. They keep everybody separate to build storylines, whereas Raw and SmackDown can't. If Raw and SmackDown can do that, their pay-per-views become more exciting, a little more must-watch TV, and with that, David Hero has spoken.
Oh, I'm sorry, are you done?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Are you going to watch 205 Live this Tuesday night after SmackDown, the new Cruiserweight show from WWE?
That's on before 227, correct? No, I'm not watching 205. Well, I can watch it on Raw. And I don't watch that segment either.
Folks, that is it for this week's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report
God,
Prime
I
Time.
can't stand sitting next to you anymore. You're so rude this week. It's a week of being thankful. Thanksgiving and turkey.
I'm thankful
and
that this
Indians
is
and cowboys.
the second to last week of having to sit here and do this show with you, because after Blizzard Brawl, presented by House of Hardcore, you will be unable to physically sit in that chair and do this show. I mean, you're already unable mentally to do it, so you're going to be unable physically to do it as well. I'm done talking about the match. I've talked about wrestling. I've shown you how great a broadcaster
You haven't talked about anything about
You've
wrestling.
distracted
I
with
carry
your
the entire
gimmicks
show.
and all your little toys here, and the show is over.
This
So
is not a toy. This is a hookah.
So for that one,
This one.
this is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Feedback Friday.